John Regas, founder, CEO, and chairman of the board of Adelphia Communications Corporation. Most importantly, John is the patriarch of the Regas family, a name that carries a lot of weight in its community. He saw the value of hard work and aspired to live the American dream. He is a pioneer in the cable television industry and has a very expansive mindset. He believed that purchasing other companies was the best way to increase market share, and by 1986, John formed Adelphia as the principal holding entity of his family's 5 major television companies. Tim Regas, John's Ivy League son. At 45 years old, Tim is Adelphia's chief financial officer, chief accounting officer, treasurer, and director. Like John, Tim is an extremely hardworking, intelligent businessman who graduated from UPenn's Wharton School of Business in 1978. As CFO, he serves as John's right-hand man in all of Adelphia's operations.
Hey, Tim, how's it going?
Hey, it's going well. It's good to see you.
Always a pleasure, son. Great to see you. So I want to talk to you a little bit about our current status.
Okay, let's hear it.
Recently, our industry has been very competitive with recent mergers like ACCT and Media One, as well as Bell Atlantic and Verizon. We're currently the 6th largest cable provider in the United States. This is good, but I want it to be better. Certain provisions of the 1996 Cable Act are also expected to increase competition significantly. I'm concerned we're falling behind our competitors at the moment. We only had about 1% of basic subscribers growth last year, and the AT&T merger is driving down our prices. Not to mention, radio companies, the internet, and print media are increasing competition in the advertising space. We're starting to make more and more of our money in this advertising space, so I'm a little bit concerned about that. The silver lining is I'm not worried about any other companies entering our competitive market. With the economy booming as it is right now, the future of the cable industry is bright. Analysts are expecting a lot out of us for the next few years, so we have to keep expanding. We're going to do this by tapping into new markets through what we've always done, acquisition. I don't care how many loans we have to take out. Worst case scenario, we reclassify some of the debt. We can take out a little bit more debt, but we have to make sure that our ratios continue to look good to investors.
Well, we've already co-borrowed about $250 million with the family trust. Our family owns this trust, and we are Adelphia. It's all the same. I don't see why we couldn't take on more debt for acquisition capital and shift it off of our balance sheet to Highland Holdings. No one would ever know.
Tim, this is why you're my favorite son. I love that about you. You know that family comes first, and we own a vast majority of the company's stock. We have to make sure that that stock continues to climb. For this year, I'm comfortable moving about $1 billion worth of debt to the family trust.
Okay, what about $1.2 billion? Our debt ratios in the face of the financials will look much more attractive to investors. This will help improve our appearance of solvency on the balance sheet while also allowing us to exclude tens of millions of dollars in interest expense.
Okay, I'm all right with 1.2 billion, but no more. We'll have to wait until the next period if we want to add some more. Just remember, companies use these tactics all the time. Deloitte hasn't asked us about our reclassification, so we aren't technically doing anything wrong. This place is pretty nice.
It is pretty nice. I would definitely get it.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Corporate
Corporate card?
Yeah.
Please have a seat. We're here to discuss the case of the Securities and Exchange Commission versus Adelphia Communications Corporation, specifically defendants John Regas, Tim Regas, Michael Regas, James Brown, and Michael Mulcahy. I'd like to keep this short and sweet. The plaintiffs will state their case and the defendants will be given a rebuttal. The plaintiffs may proceed when ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. The principal components of the fraud came within 3 general categories. First, between mid-1999 and the end of 2001, Adelphia fraudulently excluded from the company's annual and quarterly consolidated financial statements over $2.3 billion in its bank debt by systematically recording those liabilities on the books of unconsolidated affiliates. Not only did the exclusion of these liabilities violate GAAP, but Adelphia and other defendants affirmatively misled the public about these liabilities in commission filings and other public statements. In some instances, the defendants created sham transactions backed by fictitious documents to give the false appearance that Adelphia had actually repaid debts when, in truth, it had simply shifted them to the unconsolidated Regus-controlled entities. Second, during about the same period, Adelphia and the other defendants regularly misstated in press releases, including earnings reports and commission filings, Adelphia's reported performance in three aspects that are crucial to the metrics used by Wall Street to evaluate cable companies. The first being the number of its basic cable subscribers, the second being the extent of its cable plant rebuild or upgrade, and the third being its earnings, including its net income and EBITDA. Third, since at least 1998, Adelphia has used fraudulent misrepresentations and omissions of material fact to conceal rampant self-dealing by the Regus family. For example, defendants forced the public company to pay for vacation properties and New York City apartments used personally by the Regus family, develop a golf course on land mostly owned by the Regus family, and issue over $772 million of Adelphia shares of common stock and over $563 million of Adelphia notes for the benefit of the Regus family. I'll now pass it off to my partner to run through the financial statement analysis.
Thank you, partner. And thank you, Your Honor, for having us. On March 27, 2002, during an earnings call, a Merrill Lynch analyst questions Adelphia's off-balance sheet debt. This was the first time that this fraudulent activity came to our attention. Timothy Regus, in the call, for the first time to the public, revealed that the debt from co-borrowing credit facilities to the amount of $2.3 billion had indeed been kept off Adelphia's book. This family-related debt that had been co-borrowed by Adelphia, which leaves Adelphia ultimately liable. However, Timothy's statement this day was also false and misleading, as it has now been revealed. Large portions of the co-borrowed debt was assigned to various Regus entities in a seemingly arbitrary fashion that did not reflect the true economics. Quarterly reclassification transactions were performed to effectively erase this debt from Adelphia's balance sheet, even though Adelphia was ultimately responsible for the debt repayment. Adelphia's footnote disclosures did mention these co-borrowing agreements, beginning with its 1999 10K. However, the disclosures were inadequate and intentionally misled its investors by indicating that the debt was included in Adelphia's consolidated numbers, which it was not. The Regus family and Adelphia executives used their consolidated business entities as vehicles to indirectly move cash, inventory, and debt from between the family's privately owned entities and their own pockets and Adelphia. These non-consolidated entities were effective at hiding debt and moving cash since they could easily omit balances from their consolidated financial statements. Among these Regus-owned entities included the Buffalo Sabres hockey team, car dealerships, and various holding companies. The Reguses were able to use Adelphia's funds to treat themselves to luxuries, pay private debts, and fund their family business ventures. Your Honor, as you can see here, the Regus family used Adelphia funds to enrich themselves to an amount exceeding $300 million just on expenses such as these, such as construction of a golf course for $12.8 million, the purchase of 3,600 acres of land to preserve the view from John Regus's home, that was $26 million, various stock purchases and personal investments on margin, the lease of over 17 company cars coming from Regus-owned dealerships, a personal trainer and masseur on salary for the Regus family, and the list goes on and on. This is just a sneak peek, Your Honor. In the chart on your left, you'll find the reported basic subscribers reported by Adelphia. You can also see the thousands of subscribers that Adelphia wrongfully included in their public operations metrics. And then on the chart on your right, you see the dollar amount of liabilities that Adelphia intentionally kept off their balance sheet. The cumulative amounts to over $2.3 billion. And on the next side, you will see this in a visualization. If I can direct your attention, Your Honor, to the top right of the screen, you can see $2.283 billion of debt that Adelphia was hiding from its investors. Thank you, Your Honor. We rest our case.
Thank you to the plaintiffs. Now the defendants will be given a chance to speak.
Yeah, Your Honor. I just want to put this out there. Me, my son Timothy, and several other of our family members are all innocent. Everything we did, I built this company from the ground up in 1952, and everything we did was for our family. Sometimes our family's funds and the company funds intermingled in ways, but we owned such a vast majority of the stock that I saw it all as the same. Tim, would you like to expand on this?
Yes, I completely agree with my father, John. I think that we were just trying to be really smart with our restructuring. And I think that we always had Adelphia, our family, and our investors at heart. And, you know, for example, like with the golf course, we were planning on giving that to charity. So I feel like we are definitely innocent and we stand by that.
Given the evidence presented in this courtroom today, this court finds you both guilty and sentences you to 15 and 20 years respectively.